Welcome to Easy More Raisal, one of the best money makers in the game of Runescape, and I'm here to make it as simple as possible for you today. Let's roll right into the video. Raisal has some really hit or miss comments, but the main items you're going to be looking for are the Soulbound Lantern and the Omni Guard, both over 600 mil. And you got a shot at this little guy, his cat. There are two quest requirements, Alpha versus Omega and the Light Within. Alpha versus Omega for the entrance to Raisal's arena, and the Light Within for the Restoration Prism to keep your Hellhound alive. Your requirements are here shown on screen, and what you are going to need is exactly tailored to keep you alive, your prayer up, and your familiar alive. Because if you have any of those things fail, you're going to end up with a failed kill, and this method is not going to work. It is absolutely bulletproof if you are following this as closely as possible. Only exception here is Zeramoger's Nexus. That is not a hard requirement, but the improvement on the Bone Shield is absolutely game-changing and helps a lot. For the equipment, you're going to be required to use Primeval or Crypt Plume for your 3 pieces of tank gear to proc Animate Deadmore. Plus, you're going to be using Death Warden armor with the perks shown here on screen. A Ring of Death for the passive proc on the final phase to make sure you get the kill. Plus, for the offensive items, you're going to need a Salve Amulet, which is a hard requirement, plus a Wen Book, a Zuck Necro Cape, and T95 weapons, specifically the Lantern, because these 5 souls that you get from the Lantern are incredible for the damage. Here's your full completed loadout. Plus, for the auras, you're going to be using Equilibrium for the added 12% damage, or you can use the Aegis Aura when Equilibrium is on cooldown. Ability bar, make sure that your Revolution will proc your thresholds and your ultimates, and that you have Auto Retaliate on. Because of the Primeval, you're going to be proccing your defensive almost twice as much as normal because they have the chance to reset. And when you get those resets, they really do keep that sustain throughout this fight a lot higher than you would if you're using Crypt Bloom. That's why I highly recommend that you have the 3 pieces of Primeval and do your Liberation of Mazcab. Is your idiot-proof checklist before you go into the fight. You have to do all these things before entering, because if you do not do all these things prior to entering, you do not have enough time when Raisal spawn between when you enter the room and surge into the back spot and before Raisal spawns. So make sure that you have your overload drank, your penance powder popped, you've burnt your sticks, you've got your scripture on, you've turned on your aura, you've procced Animate Dead, you've summoned your familiar, you've activated your quick prayers, and you have set the respawn to fastest. This is going to make sure that if you do get back-to-back kills and you are able to keep fighting, you are going to get it as fast as possible, and you're not running out on your overload time, you're not wasting your familiar time, and it just keeps it going at a much faster pace and keeps your kill. Now, when you enter the room, you need to surge and then run all the way to the back and make sure that your back is against that podium. Main reason why is because when you have the ghost wall spawn throughout the fight, it will not hit you if your back is all the way against the wall. Now, throughout the fight, Raisal may pull you because he's going to come in and soul swipe you. And if he does that, you will get pulled in, but this is going to dodge one of those hits. Once you're in your fighting position, make sure to cast your Prism of Restoration, Death Mark, check your Auto Retaliate, and then you can start fighting. Now from here, your health will go up and down throughout this entire fight, and maybe even as low as 5k from your 15k health pool, but I would not be worried about that because throughout this, you're going to be proccing Resonance a lot, and sometimes you'll get really lucky right when he does Finger of Death, and you're going to get like a 4 to 5k heal, plus your Soul Split and your Ghost are going to be putting in a lot of work here, sustaining you throughout this entire fight. And if you get the defense procs and you're going to get a back-to-back resonance, that helps a ton with the sustainment. It is as easy as it can get because the entire fight is going to be done with your Revolution bar, making Raisal pretty much like an auto battler. What you're seeing is an example kill of pretty much the entire setup running. I am not touching the keyboard. Only time I am touching the keyboard is to proc the Restoration Prism. Now, the main key here is to keep that Hellhound alive, so make sure to be casting Prism of Restoration at least once or twice. You're going to cast it like once right after the first few phases of the phase, usually when he's around like 500k health, and then when you go into the final phase of the fight, because think of your Hellhound as a second health pool for you, and it is getting chipped away throughout because like Raisal does a lot of damage. So if you keep that Prism of Restoration up, you're going to make sure that your Hellhound stays up, and that is literally the only thing you're clicking. Has begun. Recast your Prism of Restoration, and now this is the highest damage potential. Your Hellhound takes a lot more hits and can die. If it does die, you are likely to die, and then you're going to proc your Ring of Death. If your Ring of Death does proc, you have usually the highest possible chance to kill him. Sometimes you can just stack those 2Ks and they stack them like 4 times, and then you're just gone. That can happen every now and then, but if you make sure that you have Death Mark on, you can usually kill him before he can do that to you. And you just go ahead, pick up your loot, and you're good to go. Now, once you've wrapped up your kills, this is how you reset at War's Retreat. You're going to go over to the obelisk, use your preset at the bank, make sure to go to the gem, get 100% adrenaline, go to your war portal, and then repeat your entry prep, and then you are good to go. Thank you so much for watching. That is the entirety of Easy Mode Raisal. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to see more of these videos, please leave a comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.